for ICT Bangladesh, His Excellency Union Minister, Professor Dr. Tek Tang Win of the Ministry of Health, Myanmar, Mr. Zhao Alam, the Senior Secretary of ICT Division, Dr. Manan, Executive Director of BCC, immediate past Chairman of ASOCIO, Mr. Bunrak Saranagan, Mr. Abdullah Kafi, our ASOCIO Award Chairman, and also Mr. Shahid Munir, President of BCS, distinguished speakers, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ASOCIO Digital Summit 2021. And thank you, BCS and the organizer, for your tremendous effort in organizing today's hybrid event in the midst of the pandemic. Firstly, I'd like to also apologize for not being able to be with you physically today due to the government regulations and policy on the border. I would love to have been there, as a couple of years back, I was hosted by Minister Polok, where he and his team has shared with us about the vision for the ICT development in Bangladesh, and it was a very impressive sharing, and we would have loved to witness some of the transformation that has taken place in Bangladesh. Our vision is ready to be the catalyst of the Asian Oceania region for digital transformation and development. Which there have been ample challenges and also issues and risks during this pandemic, we still see a lot of opportunities, especially for the deployment of digital solutions and services to combat all these issues. This year, ASOCIO has actually published a paper titled Digital Asia After COVID. This paper was intended to be released much earlier, in fact early this year, where we anticipated the endemic. Unfortunately, the pandemic actually continued, and with the comeback of even more cases in many economies, but hopefully many of these economies will recover very soon and move into the endemic stage and recover back into the normal situation. Now, the paper highlighted a few common issues stemming from the pandemic, and especially issues pertaining to drop in demand from a combination of forced shutdowns for both businesses and even the governments, for lack of supply of goods, products, and also inflation that has caused products to be more expensive to be consumed due to the rising costs in transporting and logistics these products from manufacturers to the end consumer. And also, there have been a lot of obstacles to operations, as usual, to owners, to employees, who has been facing difficulties even to turn up to work. And it is clear that during this period of pandemic, many digital solutions has been deployed to combat and tackle some of these issues that has arisen. And that has helped to accelerate digital adoption in many economies in this region. There has been solutions that has been deployed to do direct-to-consumer deliveries as well as sales. We have seen solutions being put in place for work from home, because due to the inability to be physically present at work, we have also seen lots of cybersecurity solutions deployed because of the rampant and also the wide usage of data, right? In order to ensure that privacy issues are tackled, digital cybersecurity solutions was required. So indeed, this shift towards digitalization, particularly among the SME, has gained a lot of momentum. In fact, according to McKinsey report, the digital adoption has increased by 1/3 during this period. And in view of this rapidly escalating digital adoption, the digital industries in Asia, ASEAN, are poised to capitalize on this turn of events. So This digital revolution will promise to be even more volatile as we recover and shaking up the industry as we speak and as we know it. What then can we do? How can we navigate and thrive in this fourth industrial revolution? Today, we have a great lineup of distinguished speakers from countries including Japan, Thailand, Korea, Malaysia, Taiwan, Singapore, and Bangladesh, namely all members of the social economy. They are here to share with you their experience and also to enlighten you on some of the solutions that can be adopted during the pandemic as well as the new normal. There are two very interesting topics that has been crafted up, namely securing new normal business as well as unboxing the future, navigating the digital journey. So I promise you that these two sessions will be of great benefit to the delegates who are attending. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, the sponsors and the speakers for supporting this event. I'd like to congratulate the winners of the ASOCIO Digital Award, who will be receiving the prestigious awards tonight. And they have also been meticulously selected by our social community for their leadership and also contribution to the ICT industry. And lastly, to BCS for hosting yet another successful ASOCIO Digital Summit 2021. Wishing all a great learning and fulfilling digital journey ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A very good evening, a very good, pleasant day for all of us, and thank you once again, ASOCIO. I think the message from the chairman was very good. Of course, he kind of laid the foundation for our session this evening, rather. And allow me to start the Unboxing the Future, Navigating the Digital Journey. It's a great way to start this conversation because if you look at the trends and if you look at all the landscapes globally, digitalization is taking a huge shape and is creating a lot of impact on not just on the nation itself, but the companies, the organizations, and of course the communities, because everybody now is talking about this digital journey. So not to put in too much, I don't want to steal the thunder from my learned panelists that are lined up this evening. Allow me to first of all warmly welcome Wai Ming from Singapore. Welcome to you, sir. Allow me to also welcome John Choi from South Korea. John, welcome to you. Allow me to introduce Brian from Chinese Taipei. Brian, welcome to you. Allow me to introduce Bunrak from Thailand. Bunrak, welcome to you. Certainly allow me to, last but not least, introduce Sabuhan from Bangladesh. So on that note, we have two of us rather on the panel, and we certainly have the others seated right at the heart of where the event is actually taking place in Dhaka. Obviously, I would like to thank the invitation, but unfortunately because of border controls, we're not able to travel, but otherwise we would have been there in person having this great moment. But nonetheless, the show must go on. So allow me to now maybe touch on the very, very painful, or rather, when I say painful, I mean a very important subject here. Painful in a sense that sometimes we need to unroot, we have to reboot, we have to restart, and make sure that where we left off from the impacts of the pandemic, we could now take this initiative forward through what we call the digital journey. So let me begin. I have some few thoughts I'd like to share, and then I'll then pass it on to the panel for their views. Number one, the digital journey in terms of where the development and engagement strategy in their respective countries. For example, in our country, there's a lot of push. So I just want to hear our learned panelists to perhaps share their thoughts in what is happening in their own countries in terms of the development and engagement. Number two, what are some of the challenges and strategies in adopting transformation, this digital transformation? I think the chairman rightfully said that this is actually a digital revolution, and that's a big word. And now everything's been revolutionized. The way we look at things, the way we behave, the way we operate, the way we make things happen. And point three will be, how are the industries coping up? How are businesses in the various sectors, how are they coping up in this new so-called the digital landscape? How are they addressing those gaps in their own businesses? And last but not least, I'd like to talk about funding, because when you do move into this, sometimes the biggest challenge here will be the cash flow. So in terms of the funding, in order for organizations to excel, is that something that's happening in their own country where there's assistance from the government or various agencies, or maybe the industry NGOs are helping them out, or from other authorities who are actually helping in this so-called funding to help everybody pick up the pieces and take that digital journey? So let me quickly, immediately, without further ado, start that conversation with Wai Ming. I'm going to ask you to perhaps in the lines that I've just mentioned, maybe you could share your thoughts. Over to you.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you. Maybe I jumble your sequence a little bit. I think Singapore, we happen to be in a lucky place because government, before even the COVID situation, has been pushing a lot of digitalization effort with our SME especially. So lots of schemes like SME Go Digital and many of such related schemes has launched into the market. But in the past 1 year alone, we have seen the acceleration, much more, than before. Simple, digitalization of enterprises is like years of so-called efforts to push is seen in a couple of months, right? So to draw some statistics from the amount in digitalization spent in Singapore in 2019, I don't have the 2020 figure, but 2019 figure is about 100 billion. But that is actually 3 times more than 2015 to 2019. So you can imagine the scale, the enterprises feels that they are being challenged and they need to really jump ahead. So we happen to have the advantage of schemes that are around, but you can see the government also rolling schemes on top like digital resilience packages and such, right, to push some of the enterprises being challenged to really pivot as fast as they could, like food and retail, right? During in Singapore, it's called circuit breaker, the control measures are in. You can see a lot of business suddenly are being stifled, right? They are being pushed out of business if they don't change, right? They just cannot continue. So the impetus to change has been very great and government has launched packages on top. I think this has also driven a lot of the SME and even micro enterprises to really tap into the funding and jump. But it's not without its challenges, right? If you look at it, if you ask me that if there's one big challenge that Singapore is faced with, I'm sure the whole rest of the world is faced with, is skilled talent. But we just don't have enough people. And Singapore is so small, I think our issue is actually being magnified. So we struggle a lot. And even if we want to open our borders, I think there's a global so-called competition for talent. I think this is where I really feel, government together with the private system must really work hand in hand together to see how we can tackle this so-called talent crunch. So that is one of the biggest challenge. I'm sure a lot of economists when I speak to face that challenge. So, but if you ask me, in terms of what makes digital transformation, I think digitalization is an overused word. You can see a lot of SME that we see are not even digitized themselves, right? They are probably still using paper and pen, and at best using spreadsheets to do their financial accounting and invoicing. So I think the digitizing part has to happen, which is a hygiene factor, before you can start to digitalize. But I think many companies today, while we claim we are very good in digital transformation, but they have not even gone on to the journey of digital transformation. Right? That is really mapping a strategy around what you need to do, really leveraging data and technology, but at the same time you need ecosystem. Right? You can't digitalize yourself and yes, you could, but the ecosystem needs to be digitalized in order to drive really successful adoption and really extract maximum benefit. And I think this is where the Asian Oceania community is here. It's so important that we need to connect. I think being connected is one of the most important things. If we can connect ourselves, private sector, government, and digitalize this connectivity, I think that's one. But the other area that struggle a lot in our mind, which we have launched a lot of programs, and that's where the industry, private sector, society, and government work together, is really how to make this sustainable. Right? Everyone is talking about carbon. Now we are in the tech industry. Tech uses electricity. Electricity generates carbon. Right? We are probably one of the largest carbon emitter. So we have to tackle this sustainability, else probably we don't have an earth to live on for future generations. So one. Second, being inclusive is very important, right? The old folks, 60, 70 years old and child, or some of the compromised family, or more poor family, how do we ensure that everyone has equal chance? As we move and push forward with digitalization, we do not want to leave a big gap in the society, and that will create a lot of. But at the same time, being inclusive does bring up digital literacy and everyone adopting digital technology much more willingly in that sense. Yeah, so these are my thoughts.
Well said, Wai Ming, well said. But I just want to ask you one thing. On the scale of 1 to 10, what would you say the awareness level in, let's say in Singapore, for example, what would be the awareness level be in terms of digitalization? 1 to 10, what would you rate I mean, this is just a personal perspective.
I think because our government, our prime minister, our ministers, everyone is saying for private sector, I think the awareness that digitalization is important is probably 8 to 9, I would say, easily.
Fantastic. Okay,
for
good.
enterprises.
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate your thoughts and your comments. That's well said. Now I'm going to jump on to John Choi. John, your perspective and your views on the statements that I made earlier. John, what would you say?
Put it this way. Let me describe what is happening in Korea right now. You ask what is happening in each country, something like that. I think digital transformation is hitting very hard all kind of industry in Korea right now. You know, Korea, very early we studied digitalization. I remember from the very early 1990s. Already 30 years ago, so we studied digitalization, like e-government, something like that. So we discussed for the past 30 years, so much digitalization, digital conversions in different names, something like that. But in the pandemic situation, that digital transformation hit so hard all kind of industry, like manufacturing, education, and some medical science, and even bank, everything. One example is like some bank. In Korea, we have some bank which has more than 100 years history. Sometimes some bank has 120 years history, but one bank popped up. That is a digital bank, digital service bank. It was established only 5 years ago. Do you know what is the market cap? They IPO'd 2 weeks ago. Their market cap is $30 billion, but very old, traditional, the largest bank market cap is $22 billion.
Wow.
The new bank, when they IPO'd, it was around $30 billion. Right now, it's approaching $40 billion. That is happening. They have only 1,000 employees. But all the traditional bank, they have at least 100,000 employees. That is happening. Also in manufacturing, Korea is a little different from the Bangladesh or some other country because in Korea right now we have pretty matured industry like manufacturing and some bioscience, even pharmaceutical industry. And also, it's the cultural industry. But these all kind of industry, right now, they are moving into the digital transformation. Even manufacturing factory, they need the digital twin. And also, automobile company, Hyundai, they need, autonomous driving skill. So every area, every industry, they need digital transformation, and the digital transformation changed a lot in Korea. Do you know what happened? So that is happening. As a result, we are suffering from the lack of programmer. So digital service company, they absorb a lot of programmer, very skilled programmer, high quality programmer. And the salary is skyrocketing. It's going up 30% and 50%. Right now, it's moving up to the 70% increase. So that's why I'm saying there is very good opportunity and very good chances for the Bangladesh.
Yes.
In
In
Korea,
fact, yeah, John, if I could jump in, one of the things I think you touched a very important point. I was going to ask you about the talent because if the industry is moving so fast and there is so much development going on and it's taking shape, one of the biggest challenge in that kind of environment or that landscape will be the talent. But you just responded with that you do have a challenge in that space as well, right? So this is one of the challenge. So now, which means that you probably be importing more talents from the other countries to bring into so they can fill the gaps. Is that something that Korea will be doing in South Korea?
yeah, that's right. So the most serious challenge is the lack of programmer, and the solution is outsourcing. So that's why I say Bangladesh has good opportunity. Right now, not only Korea, maybe Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, all of those countries are in the same situation. But in Korea, in terms of that, programmer, I think that Korea is most seriously hit country. So there might be a very good opportunity for you.
Yes. Thank you. John, that was a great opener. I'm going to come back to you with some questions afterwards, but let me move on to another take from Brian. Brian from Chinese Taipei. Brian, over to you, Brian, and maybe you want to share your thoughts with us on this particular area. Over to you, Brian.
Okay, thank you, Stan. This evening, I think I can share the Taiwan situation and what is the government did for all the industry. Just what the one said, I think Taiwan enterprises very like to Singapore. Those Taiwan small and medium enterprises is a most company, right? So SME is almost 98% of the Taiwan enterprises. And the small and medium enterprise, they are small and they lack resources. Therefore, they are not sensitive to change the global, to know how to change it and use the global technology. So what the policy where government promoted to help the digital transformation to the small and medium enterprises? We, according to the PwC Taiwan this year information, here is 35% of the enterprises confirmed they will increase the investment of digital transformation. Business service industry and manufacturing industry and the ICT industry are the three industries that need digital transformation the most. Okay, under Taiwan government MOEA, MOEA means the Ministry of the Economic Affairs. We have IDB, IDB is the Industrial Development Bureau, and the SMEA, and the Department of Commerce. They are promoting different industries. For example, IDB is assistant factory manufacturing, right? SMEA and the Department of Commerce are promoting the business service industry. Okay, at the CISA, we are doing both projects from the SMEA and the Department of Commerce and government. We built a cloud marketing platform and recruit over 500 software companies and upload their cloud solution to our platform. So far, over 700 cloud solutions are there, and we do cloud solution promotion to different industries. And we encourage users to subscribe solutions from this cloud marketing platform. So far, there are over million United States dollar subscriptions. So, and other things, I think I will point out that one thing is SMEA company. I think they have a common phenomenon is their leaders lack for resources and information. So what is digital transformation? The most important is their company leaders they needed to sense in the outside environment what is the impact. And the company leader, they need to have the sense in what is the company's bottleneck and risk and opportunities. Then company leaders have a sense to provide a new method to create value or the develop revenue and increase efficiency. So I think they will review the customer experience or business models or optimize their operation excellence. For these three kind of category, it could be the part of the digital transformation.
Okay, good. Just want to ask you one question, Brian, on that
Yeah.
note. What about creating competitiveness in those environments? I mean, do you see helping the SMEs particularly to uplift themselves so that they can be more competitive in the open market or maybe beyond borders? Is this something that in the digital journey that Chinese Taipei is doing?
I think this is the anywhere from the business leader. So most of companies they will select how to create by customer central and to offer a very good solution to increase their satisfaction for services. This thinking, if we do, we are classified by the manufacturing or the service. And we will depends on the company, their company located in the up or middle or the end of the customer. They approach the customer very needed. They will solve the customer services problem, right? But this company are located in the middle of the industry. They need to just optimize their internal process or do the manufacturing process.
Right.
If this company located in the up in the beginning, they needed to solve the maybe the design or some integrated of their product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. That's good, Brian. So let me just move. Before I get on to, by the way, I do have a question, but I want to pose it to Wai Ming later on. This is on the competitiveness, Wai Ming. I'm going to come to you, but let me just be fair to all the other panelists. I wanted to go through their thoughts first. All right. Now I'm going to know that next is Brunda, but I'm going to call upon Sabu Khan from Bangladesh to perhaps share his thoughts on this digital journey and some of those pointers that I mentioned earlier. So over to you, Sabuhan. Would you just share your thoughts now? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stan. Thank you very much for moderating from remote places. And thank you very much. And it is the opportunity of the digital technology, as we already agreed. And definitely, as Mr. Choi has already mentioned, because this is the one of the key opportunity for Bangladesh to create a lot of the talent people who should play the very good role about this digital device. And at the same time, you know, that this digital divide and also the minimize the gap. I'm sure the Bangladesh has the great opportunity because in respect of the population, definitely we have the plenty of opportunity, as all of the distinguished guests is already mentioned. Our education sector can play a very good role because this is the good time, because I'm sure that as South Korea is already, due to cause of the technological development, they are facing shortage of the right people. They are already searching a lot of the people from those who have the capability. And at the same time, you know, the ASOCIO, WITSA, and of course, I'm really happy that Bangladesh government, especially the ICT ministries, play a very good role, because usually if you find out this World Congress IT, I hope that everyone will be agree that how the ICT ministry is already worked together hand to hand with the private sector, especially the Bangladesh Computer Association by BCS. So this is the one of the key factor, because this pandemic is also giving us a very great and good lesson And I'm sure that in Bangladesh also, if you go through the all of the company, there's those who are really adapt the technology and utilize the technology properly. I'm sure that everybody would agree with me. They are doing very good and they are already creating the economical development of our country. And despite of this COVID-19, if you go to the Bangladesh economical development and also the growth in our GDP, I'm sure that everybody will understood because we are really very strong position in respect of technological development. This is one of the key reasons our young people, those who are the that play the very good role in the various company, they are very much familiar with the technology. And every day we are seeing the government is also in respect of the policy. We are very happy that whenever any sorts of development is coming, even today when I opened the newspaper, I saw that the Bangladesh Bank is and national and the finance ministry already taking a one policy that all of the Bangladeshi people, those who invested outside of the country, they are already bringing them in the tax regime. So that is the very good initiative, I should say, because you see, a lot of the Bangladeshi people has the talent. They are creating a lot of the good impact in the overseas market. But this is the time to bring them also in the national economy so that we can recognize them professionally. Otherwise, what happened? A lot of the people, they are contributing in the USA, UK, Australia, Canada, but somehow due to cause of this policy, we cannot bring them in our national economical development. So I am sure that this is also the good opportunity that Bangladesh government is taking a very good part. And again, especially the ICT ministry, and you will be surprised, ICT ministry is already developed one startup Bangladesh. ICT ministry was giving the seed fund. They are organizing a lot of the pitching for bringing a lot of this innovative and creative-minded startup. So these sorts of activities is going on very, I should say, the grassroots level. And this is one of the good opportunity, ASOCIO and WITSA, in both of them. I'm sure that all of the players, because Bunrak, I think he's a very good friend of Bangladesh. And of course, the Choi, Mr. Choi, I met with him in 2016 in South Korea. I'm also surprised to see him here. And Mr. Stan, all of the people, I know that you are already working with the Bangladesh government. Whenever you are coming, you see the Bangladesh government is already very much serious to implement the ICT in every sector, especially our Honorable Prime Minister, before coming to the power, they have the commitment to develop the digital Bangladesh in every sector. So that's why I should say the digital divide and technological development, as you rightly pointed out, Mr. Stan, the navigating, because this is the time to utilize the proper navigation. If our people, sometimes I say that, you see, our young people, they don't need to the graduation, they don't need to the master's degree from the university. Rather, if they're navigating properly, they can search proper information, who is the right player, because he is a very good expert. I think a lot of communication we developed before, after meeting with him in 2016. So what happened? Because this is called this navigation. We need to find out the best practices in South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, Japan, and Thailand, and these sorts of Malaysia. If we can bring all of the best practices and try to cope up with the Bangladeshi good entrepreneur, then we can develop our economy. And again, I must say that the talent, as you already, and Mr. Choi also mentioned, that we should nurture about the talent to develop and to minimize this digital divide.
I think I will see a lot of cooperation that's going to be happening as far as the talent development, cooperating between the countries and those that are basically coming together to ensure that we don't have this challenge. But thanks again, Sabuhan, for that wonderful layout, that whole thing that happened. In fact, you responded to more things that I actually wanted to ask. On that note, allow me to make one important announcement earlier, which I should, please forgive me. I just want to let you know that Nasima Akhtar Nisha was unable to attend. She was actually one of the panelists, but she's actually unwell. And we wish her well and hope you stay safe and be well. And we miss you, but nonetheless, I'm sure there'll be another opportunity. On that note, let me now move to Kun Bunrak. Bunrak, I know you've been waiting patiently, so I'm going to pass over to you. And I understand Bunrak has got some slides to share. Would you want to take on the slides right now? Bunrak, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I prepare one slide to share my experience of implementing readiness of the digital organization. But before I touch on that, I also like to share what is happening for the last 2 years of COVID pandemic in Thailand. It happened not only in Thailand, but also in, I think, in everywhere globally, because of a pandemic. it speed up, the use of ICT or digital faster than before. You could see for the last 2 years, online shopping, food delivery home, and people are work from home. I never thought that, that we could work from home in any field, but, almost every field except some occupation like maid, because one day maid asked me to leave. She said she liked to work from home, but she maybe clean up her house. Yeah. So that I said, okay, we not pay you. You can work from home, and I see that in some feel that they work even more productive than before, work from home, and I could see that people could communicate through online system, very efficient. Normally we work with, maybe we can do online meeting within the country or between the office. Now everyone can join anywhere, any country can join. So it's very productive. Even in another area that health, healthcare, during the pandemic, we have created a system called home isolation or the virtual hospital. And this is help a lot of people who are infected from COVID. And it helps also the hospital that do not have to, admit all of these people, So even the vaccination nowadays, we have a system that the Ministry of Public Health hosted it. It records everything, You could interface with that system and the situation any day. And also the you need to use that system, when you go to some place, government very strict. Before entering the restaurant, you have to show that you have complete doses. Any information that you can use a mobile. So mobile application, cloud system are now very, very popular. Okay, let me move to the slide that I prepare. So I now working with the Thai Red Cross in society in Thailand. We have around over 10,000 employees working in this charity organization. And we have around almost 30 office, departments. So each department has a core application for, to run the activities to help the people. So many people ask me how we can move forward to be a digital organization. So I try to make it simple and easy to explain. Now, I divided into 5 elements, to be readiness for the digital organization. The first one I call the strategy, policy, and planning. Each of the office has to have ICT plan. They have to have information security policy because we use a lot of IT. We have to implement the privacy policy. We have to have a business continuity plan. We have to have a plan to develop human resource. A second element we mentioned about the ICT infrastructure. The readiness of the internet, within the central part and also throughout the country, including Wi-Fi, virtual public network, VM and cloud. Everything has to be defined, And also we implement an email, one email. One email address under one email. Okay, and we have to have the electronic document, e-meeting, Zoom, Teams, WebEx, whatever. The infrastructure has to be ready for the people to use, to connect. The third element, is the information security. We drill down into the access control, you know, how to access the device, the network, the application data to the data. Each of the item has to define what security level of the people who will access. We implement next gen and web application firewall, antivirus. All is a subscription that we have to pay. We have 10,000 of client device that we have to maintain for the antivirus, you know. And also, we have to implement the ISO IEC 27001, the security system that we ensure that we comply with the standard, okay? Also, we have to do, provide the VA scan or penetration test or SOC, you know. Let me tell you the color that I put there, there are different meaning, you know. If it's blue, each block is blue, it's fully implemented, okay? If the block is green, it means that they're available. We already provide, but they are not fully implemented yet. Yellow is in progress, not available, but we have a plan, we have developed, in progress. And the pink one is seriously have to consider is the, you know, none, nothing. We have to plan for that. So each block, I put the color, okay, so that I can follow up and push and make it fully implemented. And the third one is important, the application. Each of the office would have the core application, you know, like SAP or whatsoever, Oracle, Finance. And then we have to have a mobile application. This is for, the core application is for the operation to run effectively their activity, their business. And mobile application is enhanced so that our customer can access all the information related, you know. And the green one, website, this is for public. And dashboard. Dashboard is for executive information. And all of these, we have to consider integration of application and data. And the last element is about the regulation and culture. You know, we have to make sure that mindset of the people are changed and ready for the digital organization. Digital skills, we have to develop and upskill, or, you know, and high engagement. People have to volunteer, have to, you know, change the attitude. And last but not least is regulation and practice has to be changed. So all of these, I make a plan for each office and integrated for the whole institution. So this one may be useful for you. So this is what I prepared to share.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Bundrak. That's great because this actually stamps out the journey, the digital journey, and I think you laid it quite well. And although you picked up the experience sharing in this context, but I think when you shared some of those boxes, it clearly shows that there are plans forward, and certainly we wish you well, and hopefully all that will come to pass. I'm going to now go, because of interest of time, what we call a very quick question and answer. So I'm going to go around quickly and ask you some questions and answers, and then you probably want to tell me that, okay? But on that note, I just want to ask, you know, I mean, in Singapore, what about the competition? I mean, do you see a lot of competition? I mean, now with the draining and with the so-called the thinning of the talent, what about companies? Are they competing one another? I mean, in this kind of war, there will always be a war, right?
I mean, it's not really competing, right? I think it's about, I mean, competition will always be there, right? But I always believe when it comes to something like digitalization, it's better to get together to solve this problem. Band together to make it stronger. Very simple. If you have a supply chain, right, and you are the only one adopting it, and no one, you don't have the critical mass, up and down the supply chain, suppliers and your customer or subcontractors are not going to adopt the solution, right? And if you're the only one doing digitalization, there is benefit, but there will be always limited benefit.
Yeah.
Right? So
Okay,
this is where I see, yeah.
Good. What about the culture? What about the culture? I mean, change the culture. You know, you have different age groups that are involved in the so-called the digital journey. But what about the culture? Do you see there's a culture shift, or would you see that everybody will toe the line?
I'm seeing a shift happening because everyone feels it here. COVID has changed everyone's thinking. You either transform or you perish.
Okay,
Very
good.
much
That's
so.
good. Excellent. I mean, John, over to you, John, on the same question. Do you see a culture shift, or do you see a lot of people with the different age group are coming in place with that? John, over to you, John. Quick one.
Oh, competition? Have we watched the? Oh, can you hear me?
What about the culture, John? What about the culture in your country? What about the culture of digital culture? Is it picking up
culture.
well, or is it changing the people's behavior
You
in
know,
that
I
sense?
remember around 32 years ago, when we have new president, his name Dae-jun Kim. He came to his president office. He invited Alvin Toffler. Do you know Alvin Toffler? He was some kind of, he was insisting that new wave is coming, something like that. He's the first suggestion information society, something like that. Even Korea president, he invited him, and on TVs we saw several times that he got some talk with Alvin Toffler. So that was the beginning of our digital society. So for the 32 years, Korea get used to that kind of a digital society, digital culture. So if you take a look at some of the recent drama, Squid Game, very young, that is very popular among the young people. But older people, they don't know there is a Squid Game. So there is that kind of a game, and the PIT, what do you say? It's entertainment. Sing a song. So they are very famous. That is supported actually. Those kind of cultural activity, entertainment activities, were supported by IT technology. A lot of VR technology and the computer graphics, something like that. So I think right now Korean society is pretty much get used to the digitalization. It's very smooth. Okay.
Very good. Thanks, John. John. So, Brian, over to you, Brian. What about in Chinese Taipei in terms of the culture of people? Are they very much laid back, or they're thinking more of the digitalization culture? What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Stan. In my opinion, I think the digital transformation culture, the most important is that from the top down. In my opinion, is company leader learning to emphasize the data analyzing culture. That means because every operation from the enterprises, every department have generated many data, right? And what means that data are significant. If we cut a different organization from the profit center, then can analyze what's the problem for their bottleneck. We can look inside from the data. So how to analyze the data meaning, I think this is a digital transformation, very most culture.
Okay, good point. Sabuhan, what about in Bangladesh in terms of the culture shift? As you see, are there a lot of people getting involved in so-called this talent development where they're pushing themselves into this digital culture? Do you see that change?
Yeah, I think first of all, we have a very significant development in respect of government sector, because Bangladesh, if you go back to the before 12 years or 14 years back, we will see that the government people are not very much aware, because I have a lot of the witness 15 years back. If anyone is coming to Bangladesh, asking any secretary or any top level government people that what is your email ID, they are surprised. Why the people are asking about the email ID? But nowadays, you see, the government people are compete each other, how they will utilize the technology for their day-to-day activities. And you will be surprised, because due to cause of this pandemic, our High Court and Supreme Court, both of them, they are keeping their activities through the virtual court. So this is the one of the very good development, its culture is development. Because when government is already coming forward, I hope you understand the private sector is already aware before the government. So private sector is already competing each other, and they are also trying to find out the best talent from the market. And this is the one of the important factor that from private and public, the both sector is now giving the most priority of the technological drive in people. So those, I am sure that the public servant and at the same time the private sector, the people or the professional, those who are contributing a lot in the technological development, creativity, like cyber security, like that data-driven technology, data analysis, cryptocurrency, these sorts of people and artificial intelligence, they are getting the highest priority. That is the good culture we are seeing in our Bangladesh. So that is a very significant development. Thank you.
Very good, Sir Burkhan. That's excellent. Really appreciate that so much. Now I'm going to ask for Kumpurna a quick one because of time.
Yeah.
What about the awareness and talent development in Thailand? If I say from 1 to 10, what would your rating be in terms of the development, in terms of how fast it's moving? So what would you say if I ask you to score from 1 to 10?
I think 6.5.
Oh, you have a 0.5?
Yeah, I could not say 7, but during the COVID, I think it developed and changed so much very fast, including the culture. Even a very senior one, he is now use the ICT, mobile, the merchant along the street, the street food. Everyone using mobile because the government give the support funding for them half. So they are very quick and learn very fast. So I think culture is now changing a lot and ready for the digitalization. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to go on a very fast scale. I just want to ask you to give me the number. Kaming, I'm going to start with you. Wai Ming, sorry. What about if I said in the next 3 years, Singapore will progress on the digitalization journey? If I say from 1 to 10, what would you rate in terms of growth?
I would think it will be a 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Like
wow, that's a very high number. Wow. I'm impressed. Can I go to you, John? What about South Korea? From 1 to 10, where would you see Korea going the next 3 years?
I cannot say we are in 9 scale. I think maybe we are 7 or 8.
7 or 8? Wow, that's interesting.
Okay.
What about Brian?
I think in general, I think it's 8, right? But maybe different industry.
Maybe 8.5? No, the 5 you don't want.
I think 8.5.
Okay. I give it to you an 8.5. What about Shubhahan? How about your side in the next 3 years? Where you see the development of digitalization in Bangladesh? Where do you see from 1 to 10?
Intention is to become 10 plus, but present situation is 6.99.
Wow, that's 10 plus. You beat everybody. I'm impressed. How about you, Kumpurna?
I think I wish to see 8, but I think in reality maybe about 7 to 8, something like that. 7.5.
Okay, 7.5. Good. Another 0.5. Excellent. I'm going to ask a very, very important question because you could have all the infrastructure, you could have all the plans and technology in place, but I think the people that will drive will be the talent pool that will come to make that happen. Now, this is very, very key. And then the shift in that too. If you look at if you look at the talent, and if you look at some of those the old habits that you need to break in order for them to bring that level into perspective, particularly in the talent area. Wai Ming, what would you say if I ask you from 1 to 10? What would you rate Singapore in talent development in the next 3 years?
Next 3 years, I would think currently is probably 7, and we need to get to at least 8 to 9.
8 to 9. Okay, good. What about you, John? What is the current and what's the future in 3 years' time?
Yeah, right now we are not ready in terms of talent. But right now, Korean government, they invested a huge budget into the education of the IT, something like that. So I think maybe pretty soon we will going up, like maybe 8 or 9, something.
Okay, good. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, almost, I think 8 to 9.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
What about Shubhahan?
I hope that the World Congress of IT 2021, a lot of the recommendation, a lot of the policy, and a lot of awareness government is able to develop in the grassroots level. So I'm quite confident that next 3 years Bangladesh will be reach 9+.
Excellent. What about Kumbunrak?
I'm quite conservative. I think 7.
7, good. Yeah, but that's a very conservative. I like that. Okay, I'm going to close the session now because we're almost out of time. But what I'm going to give you exactly 1 minute for your last say in what you feel the journey is going to be, or at least some advice, or your last minute thoughts. I'll start with Wai Ming. Over to you, Wai Ming.
Thanks, Stan. I thought you were not supposed to ask difficult questions. But anyway, but tech moves very, very fast, right? My advice is be agile, be quick, keep your heads up, look ahead as far as you could. We can't forecast, try our best. Most importantly, don't be caught, with your pants down, worse, right, or off your gut, because technology implementation takes time, and don't want to be caught with obsolete technology, when you finish your implementation. And whenever you do any digital transformation, the simple advice in terms of strategy to keep it very simple is, how can technology make you cheaper? How can technology make you faster? How can technology make you smarter? And when you get cheaper, better, cheaper, faster, and smarter, how does it make your business better? So you keep thinking about it, and then you need to really transform and be agile with strategy and using technology in your whole digital transformation journey.
Thank you so much. John, your last minute thoughts, John?
Okay. Every country has a different level of infrastructure and the cultural recognition of the IT, something like digitalization, something like that. So right now, I told you in Korea right now we are suffering from the lack of talented people, especially programmer. So this is very good opportunity to bridge between developed country and the developing country. So ASOCIO, it has been here more than 35 years, but I think ASOCIO can play some role to bridge two country, two group of country, advanced country and the developing country in terms of IT infrastructure, IT talent. I think ASOCIO should play that role.
Excellent. Brian, over to you, Brian. Quick 1 minute closure.
Okay, thank you. I think digital transformation is a very good opportunity to all ICT providers. This is a very good opportunity, right? So every ICT provider, they needed to check their solution, what category level meet the requirement. And I think ASOCIO have a very, very important job to change their opinion. Because ASOCIO is a good platform, right? So we can use the ASOCIO platform to exchange different countries' opinion and their result. And the last one, I think this is very important, is digital transformation need government to help. Because every country's law may be behind the digital transformation needs. So if you have some kind of influence power to influence your government to change their law, or they give some incentive or encouragement to the industry. I think that this is important. Okay?
Thank you. Shubhra Khan, over to you.
It seems to me that World Congress of IT and ASOCIO is both event is organized in the same time. So considering the importance of the event, ICT Ministry is also involved, and the private sector Bangladesh Computer Association, that is Computer Shomit, involved. So these 4 stakeholder, a lot of the recommendation, just few minutes back, Bunrag is already showed one good mapping. How the infrastructure, policy, resources, strategy can play a very good role to develop the digital divide or the talent, as you already mentioned, few of the points. So my understanding, after this event, I'm sure that all of the stakeholders, especially the ICT Ministry and BCS, both of them, they should sit together and find out the gap and recommend to develop the policy for the education sector and for the private sector development. And that, of course, I'm sure that create a good impact for our society. And definitely, as you already mentioned repeatedly, that within 3 years, we can, honestly speaking, we can able to reach our destination. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kumbunrak,
Yeah.
1 minute.
I think the pandemic, COVID pandemic situation give us the digital development opportunity. And we have to make it happen. To make it happen, I think we have to listen to the young generation. We have to give them, the opportunity to lead us. We only support them. So we have to make it happen. That's it.
Thank you. Last but not least, I'd like to first and foremost like to thank all the panelists. Thank you for sharing the stage. It's an opportunity for me to share the stage with you. Such a learned panelist, and I'm grateful to you for your thoughts today. But I'm also thankful to ASOCIO, of course, Bangladesh, for hosting this wonderful event. On that note, I'm Stan Singh. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to pass over now to Nabila, Bangladesh. Over to you, Nabila.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stan Singh. That was a wonderful moderation. A round of applause for Mr. Stan Singh and all our respected panelists here. We are moving on to our crest giving ceremony. I would like to call on stage Muhammad Monirul Islam, Secretary General, Bangladesh Computer Samiti, on stage to please present the crests to our respected panelists here. Sir, can we have you on stage, please? And I'm requesting our dear panelists to please come to our pink zone. We can open the masks and let's do the crest giving ceremony. Thank you so much. I would like to request Morinul Islam, sir, to please present the crest to our honorable speaker, Mr. Bunrak Saranganda, Honorary President of ATCI Thailand. Next, I would like to request him to present the crest to Mr. John Choi, Deputy Chairman of ASOCIO, with a round of applause. Last but not the least, I would like to request him to present the crest to Mohammad Sabur Khan, the Chairman of Daffodil International University and Daffodil Family. Thank you so much. This is the end of our session, and we would like to also invite you for our award ceremony, ASOCIO award ceremony, which will be held in this hall at 5:30 p.m. Thank you so much, and please stay tuned.